share my script.
Okay. All right. Looks like we're slightly late a bit, but hello everyone. Hi everyone. We're just going to wait a little bit more for people to come in. I know we are late, but we're just gonna wait for a few more people to come in. So right now you can just say hi on the chat box and everything. Let us know who you are, where you're coming from, where you're viewing from, and maybe tell us the weather as well. Okay. So while we wait for other people to come in, okay? So I think we're gonna start at 9:05. So feel free to say hi to everybody in the chat box, right? Okay. So good morning, Zarika. I hope everybody had their breakfast or their coffee already.
Yeah, I had my nasi lemak this morning. Good morning, everyone. I'll just do a quick self-introduction. My name is Kim, and I'm a learning designer with OpenLearning. Previously, before I became a learning designer and went into teaching, I was an accountant. That was my past life, doing a lot of accounting reports, numbers. You can imagine it, right? So over the years, I slowly make a transition to the education sector. And I think learning design I found to be super interesting. And I'm super excited to be on screen with Atika today to share our topic, facilitation. So welcome everyone to the course. Very good morning, everyone. We hope you have had a very nice breakfast. I have a very nice nasi lemak stall near my place. Yes.
Oh, that's so good. I only had bread.
Went for a nice coffee as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully it lasts me throughout the session. So yeah. Okay, I think I see a few familiar names in the attendees, but I guess thank you for joining. I also think there's a few new people, but mostly the ones that are always joining us from the first workshop and everything. I think one name I want to mention is Suzianti also here, who has been joining us for all our workshops. We have Ariza, Christina, we have Lini, or everybody who have been joining us from the first workshop, which was like 5 months ago, because we're in a 5 workshop series. So yeah, so thank you again for joining for the last one. Okay, so since we are at 9:05, I think we can start our session for today. Okay, so again, let's restart. Hi, and welcome everyone to the 5th and final Open Learning Basics workshop. So my name is Atika, and I am one of the trainers for today's session. So today also I will be joined by my colleague Kim. So Kim actually has introduced herself earlier, but I want her to introduce her again right now. So Kim, can you please introduce yourself?
Thank you, Atika. Good morning, everyone. A very good morning on this lovely morning, bright and a bit sunny. My name is Kim, and I'm a learning designer with OpenLearning. Before I went into the world of education and learning design. I was a numbers person. Yeah, specky, looking at numbers, overtime work, that you can imagine all those, yeah. And then slowly over the years, I started with tuition and went to education sector. And I'm very happy to be on screen with Atika today to share with you on our topic on facilitation. We welcome all of you. And we hope that you will have a lovely session learning about and discussing about facilitation this morning. So welcome everyone on board. Yeah. Thank you, Atika.
All right, thank you, Kim. So Kim will be helping me on screen. She'll be also conducting the session with me today. Kim will be on screen, but off screen, I also have my team to help me navigate the workshop. We have Elena, Shaliza, Chandru, all ready to answer your question or if you have any problems. So feel free to ask any questions during the workshop. If it's not me, if it's not Kim, it will be my wonderful colleague backstage. Okay. Also, we have Nikki actually, who's helping us with the technicalities of the Zoom platform. So we also have Nikki as well today. All right. So again, thank you for joining me and Kim today on another lovely Wednesday morning. I always appreciate everyone for taking time off a bit from your day to join this workshop. So before we start, I would like to mention that this session is recorded for future use and will be made available in the course for you to watch anytime as a refresher. So if you have any questions, feel free to post them in the Q&A box or in the chat box. Don't worry, we have the whole team today to help you if you run into any problems, okay? So before we go on with the contents of the workshops, I always will have to introduce a bit about the workshop and the program. So as you might know, this workshop is part of a workshop series, and this workshop is the last one. So for this workshop, you will get to identify the roles and responsibilities of an online facilitator, and will be introduced to various facilitation techniques to establish and cultivate a learning community for your online course. So this is more on facilitation techniques and everything. So we'll go through this, all of the techniques, the responsibilities and roles of a facilitator throughout this workshop, okay? So this workshop is also part of the OpenLearning Certified Ambassador Program. There are 5 workshops. Before that, let me share my screen to show you guys. Oops. Share screen. Okay, so there are 5 workshops in this program, and these are the 5 badges which you can, for those who haven't joined some of them, you can just take it, go and join it. And there are 3 badges for you to collect, but only by joining and actively participating in all of the 5 workshops, you will be certified with the ambassador certificate. So of course, this program was created because we wanted to identify who are the learning designers of the online world, because we know that learning designers are often overlooked. We are the ones behind the good online course and everything. We know the ins and outs of a platform. Not even if it's not open learning platform, you can be using any other platforms, but you are the one that design the learning activities of the course of your institution, of your office or anything, and you are often overlooked. So we want to appreciate you for your hard work, for teaching other people on how to create courses and have learn the platform, and also have a lifelong learning online where you can learn anywhere and at any time, right? So this is why we create the ambassador program. So by being an open learning ambassador, it lets you in a part of the community with other course designers such as yourself. And also by being an open learning ambassador, in the future, our first point of reference for trainings, webinars, or workshops, and any other events will be the ambassadors. So because we would love to have you collaborate with us and everything. So for those who have joined us, who have gained their badges and everything, and will probably get their ambassador certificate, we probably would love, we will probably work together in the future, maybe, hopefully, I hope so. So you can find out more about this program, and the badges or anything, and more information about it on this page. I will share this in the chat box, the page on this chat box, if you want to know more about it. Okay. So to get started with this workshop, I hope everyone have joined the course. So if you haven't, I will share the course link in the chat box. So for those who haven't joined the course, please join now so that we can start with the workshop. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. I think most of you already have joined the course, so I'm going to get. I am going to pass this to Kim to start the workshop for us. Okay.
Thank you, Atika. Good morning again, everyone, and welcome to those who just joined us. Please join the workshop in the link that Atika has sent. And let's roll on with the first activity that we have this morning, right? But before we start, I would like to just let you know, all of you know, what we're going to cover today, so that you have a rough idea what the journey we're going to go through this morning from 9 o'clock all the way to lunchtime. All right. So let me just share a screen with you. Share screen. Okay. All right. Atika, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, great, thanks. Okay, everyone. So in this workshop today, we're going to focus on facilitation. So briefly, we're going to cover what is the role of a facilitator, okay? What are some facilitation techniques, and how do we actually go about building an active online community? Because a course is a course, right? You can have a lot of online courses, but if you have an active online community of learners, it's a whole lot different, isn't it, right? So today, that's our focus today, right? So by the end of this workshop, you will identify the roles and responsibilities of a facilitator, what he or she actually does. And secondly, evaluate the effectiveness of various facilitation techniques in a range of different contexts, and then choose an appropriate one for your course, right? So we have 2 learning objectives today. Okay, and first of all, before we start, we want to get to know you a little bit better from a slightly different angle. Okay, so the activity is called how many masks that you're wearing. How many are you wearing in terms of how many masks, right? So, so let me give you an example. We want to know how many roles you are having. For example, okay, for myself, Kim, all right, okay, let me see. At home, you know, I have my roles. I may be a wife, I may be a daughter. I'm also a mom to my 2 dogs as well, right? Yeah, I'm an animal lover. Outside, you know, at work, I'm a colleague, you know, and outside of work and home, I'm a friend. As an ex-accountant, I'm also a volunteer as an auditor at an NGO. Yeah. So different kind of roles. So yeah, so onwards to you. 2-3 minutes. What are the different kinds of roles that each of you play every day? And we put on different masks, and sometimes one day we put on so many masks because we have so many different roles to fulfill, isn't it? Right? Especially women, we are a lot of us are multitaskers. So yeah, outside of work and home, I'm also an adventurer. Especially when the planes can fly, I imagine myself as an adventurer, right? Wearing all those khaki colored clothes and doing all kinds of a bit crazy stuff. So we all wear all kinds of masks, and we can choose and sometimes what kind of mask we want to wear. So I'm going to give you 2-3 minutes, everyone. Think of the different kinds of masks that you may wear on different settings, occasions, and let us know in the comment box below how many masks are you wearing daily. All right, okay. Atika, how many masks are you wearing daily?
I think there's a few. Let's see. I'm a daughter. Definitely not a mother yet, or a one. I'm a daughter. I'm an employee. I'm a friend. What else? What mask? What mask? What other masks I have? I wonder. I'm a trainer. Maybe I can use that as well.
Yep.
If we want to like make it smaller, I'm a trainer. I'm a learning designer. Instead of an employee, I use that instead. I want to say I'm a cook, but I'm not good at it. So maybe I'm not going to say that. So
Yeah,
maybe let's just say four.
Better
I'm a
than
daughter,
me.
a friend, learning designer, and a trainer. Okay, let's get. I'm going to share my answer.
Okay, yeah, there's a whole lot of masks, yeah. So I'm going to share my answer as well while we wait for the rest to, join in. So I'm I'm an LD. Okay, I'm a learning designer. I would like to imagine myself as an adventurer when I can travel, because I love traveling. Yeah, my daughter. Okay, and a mom to my 2 dogs. Okay, yeah, and what else am I? All right. Well, I'm a friend. What else? Let's see. I'm a volunteer at an NGO. I volunteer because I have an accounting background, so they need someone to do the audits, right? So once a year, I help them to look over the accounts at an NGO. So yeah, and the list goes on, right? Here we go. All right. Okay. Shall we look at the masks that our learners have shared? Oh, we have Nuzalika here. I'm wearing 4 masks. Employee, leader for an online. Hello, Nuzalika. Welcome to the session today. Leader for online learning. Great. Daughter. Wow, 8 siblings. Very good. Sangat Maria. Wife. Yep. Oh, that's a whole lot of roles. Yeah, very busy lifestyle.
Wife alone is a whole lot of roles.
Right. Okay. Everyone, keep sharing. Atika, should we give them a few more minutes, or shall we? Do we have time, or should we go to the second?
You can refresh. You can read that Chandru also have posted there.
I see. Let me refresh. We have Lini. I'm wearing, oh, that's a lot. 6 or more masks. Wow. Learner, teacher. Oh, I love this part, learner, because a lot of us nowadays are lifelong learners. I forgot that. Thank you, Lini, for reminding me as well. Teacher, mom, wife, daughter, volunteer. I'm an active IEE volunteer for my society. Okay. Lini, I'm curious to know what IEE stands for, right?
Yeah, I'm curious too. I want to know what this is.
Yeah. If you can let us know, that will satisfy my curiosity for this morning, right? And we have Chandru, our friend Chandru. 4 masks daily, son to my parents, brother to my siblings, uncle to my nieces and nephews, and proud learning designer, Open Learning. Yay, Chandru.
Yes, we're proud to have Chandru as well to be our learning designer.
Yes, yeah, a very nice colleague. Thank you, Chandru. Right, okay. Let's roll on to the next activity. Right, thank you so much, everyone, for sharing. We wear different roles daily, a different mask daily, and we have different roles for different situations. And that very nicely leads to our next, activity, right? Okay, let me just go, delivery versus facilitation. All right. So now, having identified the various masks that all of us, each of you wear daily, we're going to go into our topic, all right, on facilitation. But first of all, we want you to identify, hey, what's the difference between delivery compared to facilitation? Okay, now to start with, I would like you to watch this, our guy from Japan. His name is Mr. Michio Kaku, and he has something he's a very well-known futurist, right? He talks about the futurist, and he asked us, could we learn skills matrix style? What does he mean by that? Okay, let's have a look, right? Okay, I shall play the video. So you can see this sumo wrestler or something, okay, doing something. And
we all saw the movie The Matrix, where you simply jack in a program.
So that we can all have a clear starting, right?
We all saw the movie The Matrix, where you simply jack in a program into our brain and bingo, we are karate masters. Bingo, we know how to drive a helicopter. Can we do that now or maybe in the near future? And the answer is probably not, because the brain is not really a computer. It doesn't process digital information. Our brain is a learning machine. It learns by itself to correct its previous mistakes. While your laptop today is just as stupid today as it was yesterday, your laptop doesn't learn. Our brain has no windows, it has no software, it has no programming, but it simply learns tasks as it goes along. Therefore, the interface between digital information and memory is quite complicated. These are, in some sense, two operating systems. So eventually we may master that ability, but we have to reverse engineer the brain. And that's going to take many decades. So don't expect to become a karate master anytime soon by simply pushing a button.
All right, guys. Okay, so he asked, can we just, your laptop, you have this USB port. Can you just plug in your thumb drive and expect to learn things just by plugging in the USB drive into your brain, right? So in education, does it work like that? Does it work in that way, right? It's a good question to ask ourselves. So, in teaching, in education, we have this thing called a reflection session, which is like a post-mortem after a lesson. And we ask ourselves, am I just delivering a lesson? Or am I doing more than that? Am I helping students, supporting them to learn in a better way? Am I facilitating, right? Has my lesson been effective in achieving my learning objectives, right? So in an education setting, can we just deliver a lesson and expect the student to just get it, to understand what we're trying to say, right? So as Mr. Michio Kaku said in the video, our brains doesn't work like that, right? It's not just delivering. It needs a bit more than that, right? So in education, there's a continuum, there's a matrix, there's a scale from delivery to facilitation, okay? So I am going to let you have a chance to recall back at your past educational experiences and put this into context, all right? So, delivery versus facilitation. Now, in this activity, we're going to recall some educational experiences that we have experienced in the past. It can be good, it can be a bad experience, it can be a formal, informal, and you can have a role as whether as a student or facilitator, right? So it's an education experience. Don't overanalyze it too much, right? First of all is think back, recall an educational experience. It can be any education experience in any setting. It can be inside the school or outside the school. It can be when you were a child or when you were a teenager or a university student or an adult or at a workplace. Well, the main thing is, did you learn something or did you not? All right. How much was this person involved in the experience? Was it like, is it that the teacher just say something and expect that you understand it, right? So I'm going to give you a few minutes to think about this experience, and then share your experience in the box. Don't overthink, don't overanalyze. Yeah, so I'm going to give you a few minutes to do that, and you can think of any educational experience, and then we will then go over the next steps after that. All right. Atika, do you have any educational experiences that you want to share?
Yes,
Well,
I am typing my answer as we speak.
Okay, you're typing in, is it?
Yeah, I wanted to share my experience as well.
I recall, so many different educational experiences. When I was doing my accounting degree, when I was in my secondary school, I have a very interesting history teacher. Oh my God, she tells stories. We love her stories. I think her name is Puan Rubia. Okay, we love her sessions because it doesn't feel like a lesson itself. It feels like we're listening to stories, and and in that way we learn, we discuss, we learn. And I also have my accounting lesson, totally different style. Oh my God. Sometimes I think I almost maybe half fell asleep. So very different experiences. Yeah. And to look back, when I look back, it's quite funny, because now that, I'm in the education sector, I can kind of have a chance to reflect back and think about it. Yeah. You come across any funny experiences, Atika, or anything memorable?
I don't think it was funny for I mean, like, it was more memorable for mine. I shared mine. It was about English subject. So my favorite subject has always been English since I was in kindergarten and until I took my master's. I always have been favorable towards English, but this is because when you learn English, you cannot learn by memorization. So usually the English teachers have a lot of ways to teach you English. They can't for mine, we always have like plays, we have games, we have storytellings, like quiz shows and everything. So it's always different on how you learn the subject. It's not like I hate memorization. So this works very well for me. I can't memorize things. I can't even remember my phone number. So so that tells you something about it. So when you have a teacher that goes over and beyond to teach you something, it helps you to learn better. And then I guess I wanted to do that as well to other learners, to the future generation. That's why I took TESOL in my uni days. But I guess I found my path to learning designer because, well, I get to broaden this experience to a lot more people, right? Guys who joined, right? I get to share this experience with you guys as well. So,
and it's very, it's very fortunate, and you have such amazing experience learning English, and it makes a lot of difference, isn't it? Having that kind of amazing educational experience. I remember when I went back to university the second time, of all things, to learn, I'm a Malaysian Chinese, to learn Mandarin of all things, because I didn't go to Chinese school. Yeah, I have very interesting lecturers as well, and I really appreciate their sessions because the classes with them, because it makes things so interesting. I was cycling around the university, you know, I sold my car and went back to university, right? That money came from then, from my savings, right? Whatever. So, I met with very nice lecturers, and they're so good at their teaching and facilitating at letting us students, you know, discuss and learn things. So it's not just a one-way street. It is actually a lot of like discussions and so forth. And I remember one of my Mandarin teachers, oh, she was actually the author of my textbook, right? And the funny thing is, after so many years, I found that she's conducting an online course. So yeah, when I have time, I'll probably join. Yeah, so having a good, well-designed lesson with facilitation, it makes so much difference, isn't it? It's not just, it's a two-way street, and the experience is so much more, I don't know, dynamic, I guess. Right.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
So it's just like you have all the base, and but what you do with it is how what makes it different. What matters, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And especially now, I feel that, I don't know, personally, I feel with the new generation of students, we have a very active, young generation thinkers who question, which is a good thing, right? And so in our education style, and in when we have lessons, whether it's online, offline, it's not just delivery, it's not just a one-way street. It needs to have some discussions, some kind of facilitation, so that the students feel, hey, I'm part of a community, I'm motivated, I'm eager to come to learn, I'm supported. If I have any doubts or any questions, there's someone to support me, to help me find the way or find the light, if you can put it that way, right? So let's have a look at the sharing. All right. Okay, I need to refresh my screen.
Yes.
Okay, right.
Please share your experience as well, guys. We want to know what's your memorable experience on delivering on this, like in schools. It could be work,
so
like it could be yesterday as well.
Yes. Okay.
Let's read Shaliza's first.
Yeah, a friend from Michelle. I like to share my experience in learning ballet. Wow. I always wish I can dance, right? So after more than 20 years since my last lesson, I pick up ballet again. Interesting. I was afraid and wondered if I could ever let ballet be part of me again. But my current teacher has been very supportive, right? And constantly provides me with feedback throughout the lessons, making corrections along the way, right? She also has suggestions on various exercises I can do and focus on to improve my flexibility and strength. I'd say I've learned a lot in these recent years, and I'm able to let ballet be part of my life again. Wow, that's great, Michelle. Something that you love and coming back to it again, it's like a circle, and you have the chance to do something that you love, that you're passionate about. That's just simply wonderful, right? And when you have very supportive teacher who gives you feedbacks, who gives you suggestions, well, it makes a whole lot different. Yeah. So having gone through Miss Merry-Go-Round one, right, and I'm a teacher as well, right? When I'm in class, I try to be that person who is not a one-way street, who is not just teaching and then that's it, end of the lesson. And try my best to actually make it a two-way street, a discussion as well, and make it authentic. Students can relate to, what they learn, to the real world outside. So, and then be open, right? And they come back with their own suggestions, and I learn from them as well, even though, they are teenagers, I learn from them as well, and it can be quite enjoyable. Yeah, all right. So, okay, for the other learners, keep rolling in. When you have experience, feel free to share, okay? Now, after you have thought about the experience, you recall your educational experience and shared. So the next thing is, and it can be any experience, guys. It doesn't need to be like a certain experience or whatever. It can be any educational experience. right? The third step is we want you to read the stories of other learners, okay? And then as you read, in your mind, at the back of your mind, you have this, this long line, this continuum, this, right? So on one end is delivery, on the other end is facilitation, right? So keep that in mind and think as you read about other learners' posts, where are they, on this continuum, on this line, right? Okay, so after you have read about other learners' posts, right, comment on at least 3 posts and then make a note of how you think this educational experience was affected by the educators' ideas about information delivery. Okay, what do you think the educators' attitude or the way of delivering the lesson is? Okay, and even if the post has comments, just feel free to jump in, right? So so we'll give a few minutes for this activity. For the other learners, if you're in the midst of writing all this, right, no worries, keep rolling in. We would love to hear your stories, all right? Okay. Now, while we're waiting for learners' post, I'm still curious about the IEE thing. Let me just go back. Oh, we have Christina Francis here. Good morning. Welcome to the session today. Right. Okay. All right, everyone. Atika, should we give them a few more minutes? Do you have time for that?
Yes, but if you refresh on the page just now, there is a few more people that that submitted. Yeah.
Okay. All
you
right,
can
I'll do
also
that.
read Shaliza's work.
Yes. Okay. Thank you for posting, guys. For learners as well. Shaliza, I had a teacher in primary school, Cikgu Nasaruddin. Every day he would bring a guitar into the class. Oh, how nice, right? He was a language teacher and he would teach us a song first. We sang together. Then he would ask us if we understand the song, discuss, learn together, and get us to organize events and get us to write invitation, create posters, interview other teachers. Wow, I wish I have a teacher like that. Right. It sounds so interesting. It sounds like this Cikgu Nasaruddin. He's really passionate about teaching. Yeah, I wish I have a teacher like that.
I think I also have a Cikgu Nasaruddin that but he actually teaches music, so I wonder if it's the same guy. But maybe not. maybe just a Nasaruddin in general.
Maybe you can have a chat with Shaliza. He sounds like a very interesting guy. Yeah, very interesting teacher.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think how many of us would love to have this kind of teachers in class? Yeah.
I
All right.
agree.
And then we have from Lini as well. My BM teacher during SRK time of primary school always encourage us in all ways she can to improve our bahasa. I remember she wanted us to have a journal, scrapbook, which has an essay, and which we need to complete every week. And she was the one teacher who recommended me to join the Pertandingan Menulis Karangan. A very supportive teacher. Yeah. And it feels special when the teacher recognizes our work, our effort. Yeah, we feel that something different. Yeah. And I think as a teacher also, I feel that it's great, feeling to be that one to make the difference. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
And on this, as a side note one, right? I don't know. And in education, you have certain satisfaction that when you feel that the student has managed to learn something, you develop effective lesson. When I do accounting reports, I have that satisfaction. Also initially, but after some time, it's a report with numbers. And I don't know, this is my personal opinion only, right? And I feel that in an education setting, if you can design your lesson, and not only that, go beyond that, you support the students by facilitating to make it an effective lesson, and you can see that they have learned, well, the sense of satisfaction is something, I should say something very cliche, something that money cannot buy, right? So, all right, guys, thanks for sharing. And now I hope you will read the other learners sharing, and also let them know what you think about their experiences on a scale from, at the one end, I repeat, delivery, right? It's one-way street. On the other hand, is like facilitation, all right? A street with many directions and discussions and so forth, right? In Malaysia, we call it many cabang, right? Okay, so, okay. All right. So in the next session, all right, thank you so much for sharing, everyone. In the next session, I shall pass over to Atika, and she will enlighten you all on the role of a facilitator, right? Okay, so over to you, Atika.
All right, thanks, Kim. Okay, I guess from your sharing, I wanted to add something from that. The reason why we wanted you to share on your experience is because we wanted you to see how a force your educator is actually helping you to be better. It helps you to improve your work. They motivate you, they acknowledge you, they praise you. These are actually the roles of a facilitator. And I guess a lot of people kind of misunderstood that when you have an online course, these roles disappear. A lot of people kind of think that, oh, this is an online course, you can do this. I have given you all the content. The course is online. You do you. I'm gonna go and enjoy myself. No, even if it's an online course, the role of a facilitator is still important. This is why I wanted you to share your experience and see how the educator role, the facilitator role is very important in shaping you, in helping you learn as well. Even though their role is like motivating you, just like Shaliza, giving you teaching you through songs, those are the experiences that you remember. If you just have a course, put it in, student learn, read, go through all of them, they don't have the same experience. You want to keep having that experience. That's why I want to emphasize the role of a facilitator in this course. This is why this course is the last one. This is the most important one, okay? All right. So from there, I wanted to move on to further emphasize on the what is facilitator and facilitation. So I'm gonna share back my screen. I'm gonna share my screen over here. Oh, sorry. Okay. Oops. Okay. So I have been saying a lot of time facilitator, but what exactly is a facilitator? Okay, so a facilitator, defined by Merriam-Webster dictionary, is someone or something that facilitates something. Especially this is especially someone who helps to bring out an outcome such as learning, productivity, or communication by providing indirect or unobtrusive assistance, guidance, or supervision. So from the definition above alone, You can get more definitions by other websites, but from this alone, you can see that the responsibility of a facilitator is not just one single role. It's not just to look over your work and be done with it. Okay, the students' work and be done with it. There are many responsibilities that you have to provide as a facilitator to make sure that the learners achieve the outcome that you have set for your course. And thus having to wear a different mask for different roles and responsibilities. So remember our icebreaking activity. You're a one person, but you have different masks. You're a volunteer, you're a daughter, you're a wife, you're a mother. All of these are your masks. So the same as a facilitator, a facilitator is just not one thing, it's a million things. Well, not million maybe, but a lot of things. Okay, so we're going to go more into the roles and responsibilities of facilitator later on throughout this workshop. Okay, so next we're going to look at facilitation. I'm mentioned here someone or something that facilitates something. So what is facilitation now? You know what facilitator is. What is facilitation? In facilitation, the role of a central authority is reduced in favor of giving learners more power to direct their own learning. Learners are given the material and tools they need to learn, and support is given to them to engage with ideas, understand concepts, and apply knowledge to their own life. It marks a shift of simple content delivery to learner direct learning, as in the image below here. And encourages dialogue, exploration, and curiosity. So facilitation is how you distinguish learning from a teacher-centered learning to a student-centered learning, where the learning takes place from all angles. The learners, the teachers. It's not just the teacher talking to the learners themselves. It's not just one way, it's a lot of ways, it's a lot of angles. So this is what facilitation is. It's a concept. You've given the learners materials and tools, and you as a facilitator are the ones that give them support, help them to engage with ideas, make them understand concepts and everything. So that is facilitation. Okay. So there's a quote by William Butler Yeats: "Is education is not the filling of a pail, but the lighting of a fire." So kind of deep there. It's what he meant is like it's not just you pouring in. It's not just a simple act. It's like I want to say like. It's a continuous act. It needs effort. It's not just simple to pour water in a pail. You need effort to light a fire. Okay, that's how you create wonderful students. All right. Okay, so now we're gonna move to the next activity, which is what do you think? So far, you've only known about the base definition of a facilitator and what facilitation is, but it doesn't truly explain what a facilitator does and what makes for a good one. So in your opinion, whether this is an online course or a face-to-face course, I want you to share what do you think makes a good facilitator. I want you to share in this space below, okay? So I'm gonna give you 2 minutes to do this. For you to share what you think makes a good facilitator. Let me know what do you think for this. It can be for an online course or a face-to-face class. Just share what you think. So this is just an opinion based, so no wrong answer, guys. Well, there's no wrong answer in the course anyways, but yes. Okay. Oh, wow. Christina is so fast. Christina is always so fast. Okay, we have Christina. An effective facilitator leads so that participants know the group is in charge, which enables each person to play a role. A facilitator suggests ways and uses tools to help the group move forwards, but makes no decision for the group. Ah, I like this. I can see how Christina view what a good facilitator is. So how I see it, what Christina is sharing here is that the facilitator gives you the power, the learners the power, and they don't make the decision for the learners. A lot of situation where we see teachers give all the instructions. Okay, you do this, use paper this, pencil number this, right? They give all the very specific instruction and everything, and it limits the creativity the student have. So with this, what I understand from Christina's sharing is that the facilitator gives the power to the learners. They don't make this decision, but suggest ways and tools to help the learners to move forward, to do better. So yes, I agree with Christina's point of opinion here. Okay, all right. Want to see if you guys have more. I'm excited for your answers. So, oh wow, we have more people. Okay, Michelle has shared. Okay, a good facilitator is a person who is able to guide the learner through feedback, corrections, and more questions and tasks. To further enhance the learning. Yes, this is a good one as well. So a facilitator, I want to continue from what Christina said. What Christina said, like they suggest ways, right? So this is some ways are mentioned by Michelle here, where they give feedback, corrections, and ask questions and give tasks. So by ask questions, giving feedback, that helps the learners to move forward. That helps the learners to not have one single answer. They get to expand their work. Yes, this is good as well. Thank you, Michelle. Okay, we have one more by Rahim. Okay, a good facilitator is when students get good results. Facilitator must focus on what the student is not doing well versus that doing well. The solution is group them together so that it can help each other. I like this take. Okay, so we've seen from Christina and Michelle, but we see from Rahim's point of view here is that the facilitator observes who needs more help. So when they know, okay, this person, like for example, I need help in memorization. So for example, Kim is really good with memorization. So Rahim will put me and Kim together because Kim will help me to learn better because I'm not good with memorization, but Kim is. So we help to bring each other up. So Rahim is not really, he gives solution, but not pushing it. Okay, so that's kind of a good way to see how facilitation works. So yes, I hope Kim, you are good at memorization.
I just heard my name, Atika. I love all the definitions, and it looks like the three of them, when we put it together, we have such an amazing meaning to facilitation. Yeah, I love their train of thinking, their train of thoughts. Thank you so much, guys, for giving your brain a run this morning and giving such wonderful definitions and meaning of facilitation. I love it.
Yeah. Okay. I want to read one more from Zalika over here before we move to the next page. So the way the facilitator deliver his or her or his knowledge with diversification of activities which can attract students to study. Okay. So for this, what I understand is that Zalika mentioned how a good facilitator gives out their knowledge, the things that they know, by diversifying it with activities. I think this relates back to the English teacher stories that I have, but where they use different activities to teach a topic, to teach the learners a topic which can attract the students. So this is actually a good one, a good definition to that example. Okay, thank you, Zalika. Okay, all right, thank you everyone for sharing. For those who haven't yet shared, you can still do so. We'll come back to it. I'll come back to it in the later pages later. All right. Okay, so we'll move to the next page, online versus offline facilitation. Okay, so now you know about the definition of facilitator and facilitation. What I want to go into the difference about online and offline facilitation. Okay, so there's no content over here. There's two activities though. Okay, so the first activity is, what are you currently doing? So I want you to take a minute to think about what you are currently doing when facilitating your learners. Like praising them, regular interaction on topics not related to the course, building rapport, encourage self-expression, anything you do to facilitate your learning session. Before this, you're just sharing your opinion on what a good facilitator does. But right now, I want you to share what you are doing. Okay, make a list. It can be a number of lists. It can be 4, 5, 10. Maybe if you're rajin, 100 list, 100 of a list. And on how you currently facilitate your courses or class. Okay, it can be a class like before this you're doing a face-to-face class. How do you facilitate that? And now you're doing online class, online course. How do you facilitate it? So I'm going to also give you 2 minutes for you to do this. Share out, think for a minute on your methods, and make a list of this and share it in the space below. Okay, 2 minutes, guys. While I drink some water. Oops. Make sure you're doing the first one first, okay, guys? Not the second one yet. There's 2 activities here. Make sure you're doing the first one first. Just going through the definitions before, what makes the facilitator in the page before. I wanted to mention about Elena's opinion here. Facilitator breathe life into the learning sessions by molding learners' journey to recognize their own strength and prior knowledge, which then leads to developing new knowledge and subsequently needing these two together to form their own learning. Just think of how Yoda trains Luke Skywalker in Star Wars. So facilitators are basically Yoda, guys. So this is from Elena. She said, facilitators are Yoda. And I agree with her. Yes, Elena. And I agree with your opinion on what makes a good facilitator as well, where the facilitators bring life into the learning sessions. They mold the learner's journey. They help the learners to find their own strength and get new knowledge, and basically combines these two together and kababoom, be a superhero. So yeah, like Luke Skywalker. So this is the same. Okay. All right. Okay, let's see if there's people that submit for the first activity yet. Okay, all right, there's two submissions already. First by Rahim. So first one, to-do list. Okay. I think your big I think my instruction is a bit off, but for this, okay, create a game to build interaction. Okay, so usually, but I think all of this works. Okay, yeah. Create a game to build interaction. Yeah, you can do that. Storytelling, experience sharing, and praising them. This is your current. I like that the first on the list is to create a game to build interaction. I like that. That's the first thing you do. So yeah, this is a good list to have. Storytelling, experience sharing. Okay, all right. Let's see Michelle's. Provide differentiated tasks, provide authentic learning tasks, play fun learning games to review lessons and build rapport. Constantly have small talks before and after class, and also during break time. Yes, I agree with that. Allow them to make choices in the way they'd like to learn and to be assessed. And plan group activities. Oh, wow. I have said this before to Michelle in previous workshop submissions. I would love to be her student, because look at her. Look at this. It looks so fun. Her class looks so fun. Okay, so Michelle, you might have a future student from me. I might join your class maybe. But yes, this is a good list to have. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Rahim and Michelle. Let's see if there's more people. If not, we'll move to the second part of the activity. Okay. Oh, wow, there's more. Okay, Susie says, here, interact with them on topics which are not related to the course. Interesting. Encourage them to respond to questions asked. Okay. Calling their names while checking their online test. This builds my anxiety. And praise them when they answer questions, although the answer is incorrect. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, that's good. It does, guys. It does feel nice when even though you're wrong, the teachers acknowledge that you're still trying. So it feels nice. I just want to say that from a learner's point of view. So for those who are facilitating or having classes, please have this more. Follow what Susie does. Okay. Okay. Let's have Zalika. I have online class since 2019 until today. So what you did is keep track of the progress of the students. Always give feedback to the students if there is any interaction. Always praise them when they answer the questions in case studies and quiz. Okay. Just a short reply to students' work to appreciate what they have done. Okay, this is good too. I like that you guys, all of you guys have you give feedback and praises to learners when they tried. That's good. Okay, let's look at Lini's. Current facilitation method, build rapport to attract attention on the first class. Important. Encourage analysis thinking and self-opinion. Okay, all ears to the learners, followed by feedbacks. Yes, listening. Listen to your learners, everyone. Make sure to listen to what their explanation, listen attentively, and then give your feedback. Don't overshadow their work. Okay, it's good too. All right. Okay, let's move to the next part. Okay, the next activity. So the first part is you share your current facilitation method. So now I want you to list down roles that you think an online facilitator does, and think of all the roles an online facilitator does. Think of all the roles that you can think of just for online, okay? Next, you compare them with your previous list that you share, okay? From that comparison, I want you to only share in the space here if there's any similarities or differences to what an online facilitator does. Are you currently doing what an online facilitator does, and what you think that are different? I want you to share your thoughts in the space below, okay? All right. Okay, before we read Christina's, let's see first, okay? If there are other people. Okay, we have 2. All right. Okay, let's see, Christina. Christina have chose to put in the same box. Okay, but make sure you post it in the previous box as well, so that you get your progress. Okay, Christina. Okay, so successful online facilitator should feel comfortable communicating in writing. The face-to-face contact traditionally available in a classroom setting is gone in the online learning process. Okay, yes, I agree. I understand that. The ability to verbally communicate is replaced with the keyboard. The communication is intense and demanding. So what they need to do is encourage active participation, encourage group collaboration, make the information you're providing bite-sized, important, tie the e-learning course into real-life scenarios or situations. That's good. Set clear goals, ground rules, and expectation. Keep the conversation on the subject at hand. Similarities, all stated from 1 to okay, so these are the similarities that Christina have, and the differences is they talk less and listen more. They act the facilitator talk less and listen more. They act as a guide rather than as an instructor, and ask for feedback and make changes accordingly. Yes, I agree with both of this. And the difference is, it's not a bad connotation, it's good. I mean, from my point of view, it's still a good it doesn't have to be a bad a negative connotation, because even though you talk less and listen more, it means that you get to understand the learners better. You're now a guide rather than an instructor. You help them, you guide them to, in their work rather than instructing them to do everything as you want it to be. And then you get ask for feedbacks and make the changes accordingly. So these are not a bad differences. These are all good, even though they're a different a bit of differences. These are a positive differences. Okay, that's good. Thanks, Christina. Okay, now Rahim says online and physical learning is totally different. Okay, to make online learning better are to provide support behind the scene, either email or chatting. Okay, keep the discussion alive by two-way communication, ask students to give feedback. All right, simple storytelling to keep them entertained. All right, and always ask students to on their camera during the session to avoid them getting bored. Okay. These are all good ways for you to have in order to make the learning sessions better. Okay, I agree with you. Okay, let's see if there's more people that commented on this. Oh, there's more. Okay, let's see. Ariza says similarities, one-to-one consultation, reflection session where they share thoughts. Okay, or both of these are in online and offline. And the differences is that reflection session, is this okay? Maybe I need more information on this. Let me know what is, I thought, yeah, why is this similarities or is this difference? Need a bit more information, Arisa. But yes. Okay, thank you. Okay, let's see, Zarika. Roles. Make sure students is on their track and can complete their course. Marking the assessment given, gives feedbacks to the students for any interaction, and provide supporting online materials in teaching and learning process. Okay, so this is the roles when you're doing an online. Okay. This is good. Thank you, guys. I just wanted to also make sure that you guys remember to state, are there any similarities and differences, and share your thoughts on these differences, on why they are these similarities and why they are different. So you can share this in your reflection section, because if you want to edit, you can still edit the reflection part, so you can add that in. Let me know on this part. Okay, I want to know that part. Okay, so let's see, Elena. I think that the role of an online facilitator are quite similar to the in-class facilitator, but in an online environment, more thoughts need to be given in how we would like to purposely create engaging learning activities, as interaction may not happen organically. So I think in the learning environment, facilitators need to be more aware on how to create these spaces for interaction to happen. That is also why thoughts need to be given on how we design learning process and experience in an online course. Yes, Alina, this is, I totally agree what you were saying here. This is what I was mentioning, how a lot of people misunderstood that that a learning an online platform, when you have an online platform, you put in your contents as files like PowerPoints and everything as just the contents. The delivery is gone. The delivery is there, but wait, no, the delivery is not truly there. You're basically just giving the learners a content, but you're not truly teaching them, which is the part that is the one that's most important. When you're so in an online course, this is the part when that you need to have, where you need to design a learning process or experience where you can facilitate, the learners can learn, the learning can keep on going and learning. Okay, so this is what the part that I want you to mention in your sharing, where highlight why there are similarities and differences in an online facilitation. Why are these similarities and differences a bad thing? Are these a good thing? Let me know in your post, okay, in your sharing on these differences of an online facilitator. Okay, I'm gonna refresh and see if there's a bit more so that I can read what you guys say on this. Okay. Oh no, there are more. Okay, let me just guys. But overall, what I wanted to tell you guys is that yes, learning environment wise, it's totally different. You're not facing your learners face to face. Some of the learners, if you're doing an online, they close their cameras, have problems, issues with it. It's not the same. You can't see them. You can't really go to them, ask their questions, see their face if they have problems or anything. Yes, it's totally different in that way, but you can still achieve a good learning session where you play the facilitation role is where you have to shine. You have to make sure your learners understand the content, make sure that they're doing okay, keep the discussion live, give feedbacks and everything. These are the things that are you need to keep in your online class. Okay, so even though you're turning into an online course, it doesn't need to be any different than an offline in class session. All right, okay. I want to also mention Elena's comment on the chat. Imagine putting in the creativity of face-to-face class delivery into an online learning environment. Like, how do we get our learners to sing at different songs to learn the words to an online learning environment? That's a good way to put it. Thank you, Elena. Okay, let's move to online facilitation. Okay, so you guys have shared what you are currently doing, and then what you think an online facilitator does, and the similarities and differences of it. So now I'm going to go and explain a bit on online facilitation. I explained a bit in the previous speech, but now I want to fully talk about this. Okay, so what does an online facilitator do? A facilitator guides and supports learners throughout their learning journey. Think of the facilitator as a glue that holds all of the community members together in any successful online course. Their job is to be the community manager who promotes active participations, moderate discussions, and challenges learners to think critically so they can achieve the intended learning outcomes. So these are the main role of an online learning facilitator. You promote participation, moderate discussion, challenge learners to think critically. So all of these are ways for you to make sure that they have achieved the learning outcomes, because all the contents, all the activities is already in the course. Your job as a learning facilitator is to make sure that the learning happens and the learners have achieved the intended learning outcome. Okay, so let's look at how to do an online facilitation, the open learning style. So there's a video by Professor Richard Buckland. And some of the things he'll be talking about are encourage community and engage students, expected patterns of teacher-student engagement, tips on creating an engaging community, and what happens if students are posting the wrong answer. So we're going to take a look at this video to see how to have an online facilitation the open learning way. Okay, all right, let's see.
So for setting up community, it really is a matter of us being quiet. You can't be quiet from the beginning or you'll just have...
Stop this first.
So for setting up community...
So I want to cast it. Full screen. Okay. Let me know.
Community, it really is a matter of us being quiet. You can't be quiet from the beginning or you'll just have an empty, silent room. You foster noise in the room, in the online space early on, and then you withdraw yourself as much as possible. Just giving a nudge and a jet. Oh, one more quick thing. I know I haven't got much longer. Recently, I was involved with 2 courses that are now running at UNSW. One has 500 students in it, one has 2,000 students in it. The 500 student one is a computing course. And I was there helping set it up. And in the first few days, that's when you've got to build community. The first few days of the course, that's the time for answering. I think, Philem, was it your course? The student asked a question in one of the MOOCs last year. And I quickly contacted the lecturer saying, oh, there's a question here. Was that you or might have been someone else? And the lecturer came along and then gave an answer straight away. That's what you've got to do. For the first 2 days, you've got to be on the course the whole time. And if a question pops up, you've got to respond at once. Because you don't want someone asking a question and it looking like the questions don't get answered here. You want them to feel, this is live, there's someone I'm talking to, it's a real person. So I have a warm-up activity I always ask students to do to get them used to commenting, and that is I say, oh, hi guys, welcome to the course. The first activity you've got to do on the course is just introduce yourself on the home page. And I make them do it on the home page so everyone can see it, because if you log in, you just go to the home page. I want the home page to be alive and fantastic and showing activity, so you want to go there and do that. So on the home page on this course, you can just see people coming in saying, hi, I'm John, I do this, and hi, I'm Edna, I'm pregnant at the moment, and then I'll come in and say, oh wow, when's your baby due, Edna? That's awesome, I've got 3 children, are you really sure you want to do this? And then, or we'll joke, or someone will say, I'm from Canada, and I'll say, oh, I went to Canada once, it's really nice, and then other people will say, and just I have this really conversational thing going for the first day or 2 of the course. You don't want a day or 2 of silence. And after that, the ice is broken and people are used to talking and introducing themselves. So in this economics course, I was doing that in the computing course, it was alive. And then I went over to the economics course where I wasn't so involved with the course. And there's another lecturer running it, and I didn't want to interfere with his course. And I noticed he had 400 students currently enrolled. So 400 people had come to that, had logged into the site already, and there wasn't a single comment. And that just made me so tense. This was like a day into the course. And you really want their first interaction in the course, the first time they come in, you want them to comment. You don't want them to get conditioned into thinking, I come along, I look, I go away. You want them from the very beginning thinking, I come along, I look, I comment, then I go away. Or I stay and answer other people's comments. So I'm going, what can I do? Because there's 400 people, even though I'm watching, I say 401, 402, people are logging in all the time, and there's just empty front page and silence on it. So what do you think I did? A couple of strategies went through my mind. Strategy 1 was I should just go and say something. But that's not encouraging people to talk if the lecturer is talking, or someone who's not even the lecturer, because I'm not the lecturer of that. That's weird. So there's this weird guy no one knows who looks too old to be a student commenting. I'm not going to join that conversation. So what I did was I went to my own course where people had been introducing themselves and I'd been chatting with them for a couple of days, and I found one student who was in both courses. His name was Bob. And I just sent him a message saying, hey Bob, I notice you're in economics too, and no one's saying anything over there. Would you mind just introducing yourself and setting the ball rolling? And he posted back saying, yeah, sure. Then like 30 seconds later, there's a comment over there. Hi, I'm Bob. I'm doing economics and computing. I really like it here, it's fun. I'm from Canada, it's really cold in Canada. Bang! Within an hour, there are like 800 comments as everyone else logged in now because he's broke the ice and set the ball rolling. It almost be worth paying someone to do that or creating a false student account to get it going. But once they build community, that course is now alive. How's that course going? I haven't looked at it for a couple of weeks. Is it? Yeah.
Very good, actually. A lot of interaction.
Yeah.
More interaction in the first week than they ever had in the whole course.
Yeah. The interact. Yeah, because the lecturer running it is more a traditional lecturer, and he's not really thinking of it as a MOOC. So the interaction he's got now is just the habit that the students have fallen into. But you're, I hope, as teachers, going to be encouraging that interaction every week, getting it going a little bit faster and a little bit faster. So there should be more interaction each week, not less.
All right, so that's a bit on how to do an online facilitation open learning style. That was by Prof. Richard Buckland. So based on his story, you could see how he helped. He, as a facilitator, he didn't do much. He just nudged some people to get the ball rolling. He let the learners engage and themselves with each other. He doesn't come in so much. He even said he haven't looked at the course for a few weeks, right? And nearly at the end, because the course keeps on going even without him. That's how you wanted an online course to be. The learners get to learn on their own. If they have any problems, the other learners can help each other. That's what the aim you want to have for an online course. So and how you do that is just start from the get-go. Engage the students from the first page itself. Okay, so we're gonna take a look at the big 5 in online interaction and learning here. So the first one is to introduce yourself. So to get the online interaction and learning, the first thing is you need to introduce yourself. So take some time and let your learners know who you are. Your role of someone marking my activities will quickly switch into this person is my teacher. This great person is my teacher. And adding interesting icebreaking activity will be just perfect to create unforgettable rapport. So basically, you want to introduce yourself as the educator, but you don't want them to have this gap where, oh, this person is the person that's marking my paper. I don't want to say something bad or anything. Let me just keep quiet because I don't want to get on his bad side. But this is where you're wrong. You want to introduce yourself. You want to make the learners feel more comfortable with you, so that they can reach out to you if they have any problem. So, and one way to do this is to have an interesting icebreaking activity. Okay, and so which goes to my next point, which is an icebreaking activity. So make your initial activity as interesting as possible. The icebreaking activity can be simple but still engaging. Okay, so like the activities, we always, in all of the workshop we always have an icebreaking activity. I'm not sure if it's fun for you or it's not, but we always have an icebreaking activity to make sure that you guys break the ice, introduce yourself, get to know one another, share your own experience and everything. So from there, you get to know everybody. But for my suggestion is for your icebreaking activity to make it as interesting as possible. Don't make it a quiz, guys. I've seen people that do a quiz on the first page. Please don't. That may intimidate people. Make it a fun activity. You can even have like a simple activity where they share a random fun fact about themselves. Maybe you can have the 2 truths and a lie, where they share three things, but one of it is a lie, and other people will comment which one is a lie. People will try to identify which one is a lie. So that one is actually really great to promote interaction. So if you have any other activities or activities, something like that, feel free to share also. I want to know more activities, icebreaking activities to promote interaction. Okay. Okay. So next is to be active, create groups, and facilitate discussion. You can approach your learners by creating groups, and asking questions. Focus on appreciating your learners by liking their comments and posting a short comment back. See, remember the previous activity that you guys did? A lot of you guys have praised your learners and appreciate your learners' work, even though they're wrong. You still acknowledge them. You still appreciate them. You still so this is actually a good way, a good method to have. Okay, are your learners interested in current trends in social media? Create a group where they can talk to each other, share videos, interesting articles, or their own experience. So you want to to build this community in your course. So if you if like your course is maybe it's a most random one, it's a music a subject of music. Okay, so you could have a group of people that have K-pop. They love K-pop. Some people love rock and roll. Some people love the 90s. You can have those groups so they can post what in their own space, their own space or channel to talk about their interests. So you can actually have that to keep the ball rolling, to keep the interaction going. It doesn't have to be related to the course itself. You can have this as a fun way to make sure that the students build a community in the course, which is a way for you to make sure that they come back to the course, to keep an eye on the course and keep the learning going. Okay, a course, an online course, even if it's a university course, it doesn't have to be all serious. You can inject a little bit of fun in your course to make sure that the learners are having fun when learning. Okay, like a lot of when of your sharing before, a lot of you shared how your teachers have a lot of methods on making the class fun. So this is a way for you to make your online course fun as well. All right. So the next one is create group or pair activities. So the activities are the super exciting way to see what your learners learn. But not just that, they let your learners be active in their own learning. Individual learning can be extended by group learning. Whatever the activity or topic, make your learners learn from each other. So this is also a great way for you to make sure the learning keeps on going even without you there. It's because the learners are learning from each other. If it's not just if it's not a group work, a big group work, you can have it as a pair activity. Have a peer activity or anything that you can have the other learners to give their feedback, to give their comments, to give their likes, or acknowledge each other's work. This is what you want to have. You want to break that barrier that, he's another student, he or she another student. I don't want them to be giving their feedback. But actually you want that. You want your learners to give their feedback, learn from each other, explain to one another, understand each other. You want that to have that in your course, okay? And then lastly, be their partner in crime, okay? As a teacher, you might choose the role of an expert or role of a friend or both. Reflect your learners' input. Listen to them closely and value their opinions. Use your sense of humor, and most important of all, make your learners feel good and successful. Okay, so even though you're the teacher, you're the expert, you can still be their friend. But how you differentiate is that you can give your input, you can listen to them, you can value their opinions, and to make it less of a gap, you can use your sense of humor, them feel good, and also by having the sense of achievement. Okay, so these are the big 5 of online interaction of learning. So try to have all of these in your course to make your course more lively, more interactive and engaging. Okay, try to have this. Okay, so now we're going to have another activity. I know this course is a lot of activities, but that's the whole point. I want you to do a lot of activities to get to know this the topic well. Okay, so now we're going to the next activity, think and share. So this is also a 2-part. The first part is there's a Padlet board under here with 3 sentence starters. So an online facilitator is, in my online environment, an online facilitator always, and in my course community, I expect to see my learners something. So I want you to complete the sentence. Each of the sentence, I want you to complete it and paste it under here. Okay, I'm going to give you 3 minutes to do this. 3. Okay, I give you 3 minutes first for you to do this. All 3 of this, you need to complete all 3 of this. Just click on this plus button to add yours. Okay, so just click on that and type your answers. Okay. Okay, 3 minutes. Check back at 11. No. 10:40. All right. I can see a few people have already posted their answers here. So first one, an online facilitator is someone who can simulate an engaging learning environment and encourage the learners to actively join from the start until the end. Okay, and then we have someone who is capable to deliver the knowledge to the learners in different ways, and is a person who motivates and promotes learning through relevant and authentic bite-sized learning activities, and someone who would help learning to happen in a course, encourage interaction to happen, support, and help learners to participate and be active in a course. And finally, the one who has the ability to transform a book learning to interactive learning. It consists multi-sources from video, picture, text, quiz. It's hard, but can be fun. I like everyone's answer here. It's like a little bit of everything in here. Okay. The next one. In my online environment, an online facilitator always build, let's read from the bottom. Sharing a comment and do fan activities. Okay. Then we have build rapport, encourage discussion to happen in between learners, facilitate a discussion to make it active and help learners to achieve solution, motivate learners, nudge and contact inactive learners to help them. This is something no one mentioned yet, I think. Okay, communicates with the learners, guide the learners, provides feedback and suggests ways to improve. Okay, good. And finally, make an interaction with learners, always give feedback to their response. Okay, this is for your online environment and online facility. Okay. Okay, next one. In my course community, I expect to see my learners. Okay, let's see what your answers are. Introduce themselves. Okay. Next, solve problems actively by discussing with one another to create a well thought out solutions. Okay. Participating actively in the learning process while supporting their peers in the learning journey as well. Okay, good. And finally, gain knowledge and able to adapt it in their working life or future. Everybody's answer is really good in here. Okay, let's now move to part 2. So of all the responses that we have so far here, make a summary of these responses for each of the sentence structures. So I want you to post the summary in the space below. So from all of the responses, basically you'll have 3 summary. One for an online facilitator is, and the second one is in my online environment, and the third one in my course community. So I want you to make a summary of everyone's sharing up till here. Okay. So yes, you can make a sharing of that. I think everyone have understood this. I wouldn't have to go through it again. So I'm gonna go to the next page right away so that we don't we can save time. Okay, because I think everybody from this, I think everybody understands what their roles, what an online facilitator roles is, and what their learners are expected to be in an online learning environment. So really good sharing here, guys. So don't forget to make a summary in the space here. All right. Okay, I'm gonna go to the next page to discuss more on the mask of a facilitator. All right, so the many masks of a facilitator. So we've talked about you guys have shared what makes a good facilitator, what what your opinion of a good facilitator. And I agree with all of you on your answers. But I want to share on the point of what makes a good facilitator so that you guys can know and maybe add to your notes as well. So a good facilitator knows how to lead without being a leader. For one thing, then they can show learners where to look without telling them what to see. They give learners space to explore their interests and provide opportunities for them to make meaningful connections between the material and their own world. They understand that not everyone learns the same way and can provide tailored support so that everyone can participate and achieve their goals. But ultimately, they can bring out the best in their learners and empower them to make informed choices about their learning. They let the learning happen. So these are the qualities of what makes a good facilitator. And I believe that a lot of you have mentioned each and every part of this, where they lead without being a leader. It can show the learners where to look without telling them to see. Where I'm not sure who mentioned this, where they said it's they're a guide and not an instructor. I think it was Ariza. Right? So this is the same. They give the learner space to explore their interests and provide opportunities for them to make meaningful connections. All of this was mentioned by you guys, and I applaud you guys for having that. Means that you guys already understand what makes a good facilitator. So congratulations. We're not even finished yet. So yeah, good work, guys. But overall, what you want is that you let the learning happen from by the students themselves. So there's a quote here by John Holt. Learning is not the product of teaching. Learning is the product of the activity of the learners. So that's what we want especially in an online course. You want to let the learning happen from the activity of the learners. What they did with your instructions, with your guide, is what is how you measure the learning. It's not how you teach it, it's how you guide them. Okay, so this is some of the roles of a good facilitator. Okay, so now I want to talk more about your facilitator mask. Okay, so in this session, we're going to assume that you have these different masks. So each mask represents the different roles that you have to play as a facilitator. Okay, so as a facilitator, the main some of the masks you might have are host, guide, mentor, cheer squad, and releaser. Okay, so let's look at each of the masks. So the first one is a host. So as a host, in this mask, you create a conducive learning environment. Make sure participants feel welcome, happy, and comfortable, like a good host for a house party, right? And this can be started from a good icebreaking activity that can eliminate the learning environment. So as the host, as a facilitator that use a host mask, you are the one that makes the learning environment more pleasurable, more fun. This is like how you create a good icebreaking activity. That's your host mask, okay? And then you have the cheer squad. For this one, it is important to try to, it is important to try to ensure learners are working and learning because they are interested in the material and how it relates to them. So, which is an intrinsic motivation, rather than just doing whatever they can to get a praise. Therefore, as a facilitator, you have to also be their own personal cheer squad, cheering for them every step of the way. Okay. So this is the mask of a cheer squad. And then you have a guide mask. So like a tour guide, they give information and guide people from getting lost. Use a common tool or language to create a community of practice to happen. Ask great questions. Reflect the way they have been asking questions by seeding, big picturing, the promise of power, and also modeling. And and then we have the mentor mask, which is a good mentor helps the students. A good mentor helps their students define goals that are challenging but achievable. Sometimes all this take is a quick discussion with the student to inspire them into action that they wouldn't have otherwise done. If you ever had a teacher in school who said something like, "You're really good at this. I'd like you to try to do something extra special for this project," then you had a good mentor, teacher. And I guarantee you took it upon yourself to produce some amazing work on that subject, bringing about great learning outcomes along the way. So under mentor also, I wanted to highlight this. A good mentor in work is when a mentee leaves the company. He or she no longer the mentor, but values the knowledge that the mentee learned. But the values and knowledge that the mentee learned will be continuously practiced in the new workplace. So yeah, at work, it can also happen. Like even if the mentee leaves, they're no longer there, they are still practicing in other workplace. So it means that you have achieved your mentor mask. Okay, and lastly is the releaser mask. In this mask, you empower your students to take what they have learned and reshape it, discuss it, disagree with parts of it to make their own. Allow students to select which aspects are important to them and their interests and forget about the rest, so long as standardized assessment allow you to. If the work of a facilitator is done well, every student will come away with something different, something something meaningful to them. This can be seen like in an art class where you provide the tools, but your students have the freedom to create what they want. So basically, you release them. So these are the 5 masks of a facilitator: a host, a cheer squad, a guide, a mentor, and a releaser. So these are something that you use interchangeably throughout the course, or even in your class. So these are something you need to practice to have. Maybe some of them you might not have right now, but now that you have seen this, you can utilize this in the future. Okay, so let's go to the next page. Okay, which mask should you wear? Okay, so this one is a really big activity actually. So let me just refresh that a bit. Okay, so now for this page, it is actually a 7-part activity, very long activity, because for now you get the idea of what each mask are. You have the host, the guide, the releaser, cheer squad, and I missed one, I think. So I want to see if you can identify which must we use in different situations and scenarios. Okay, so each scenario is given here. You need to figure out which mask you need to wear. So I want you to give the reason and rationale why you choose that mask for each situation. Okay, so because this is a very big activity, let's just do one for now. You can do the rest after this workshop. Okay, I'm gonna give. Okay, so let's do the first number 1. In situation 1 is your course is ready to go live, except for the introduction activity. So consider these points. Who are your learners? Do they know each other? What are the threats involved? How do you make sure that your learners feel welcome? Write down your instruction in detail. And then which mask will you be wearing and why does the mask work? Okay, so I'm gonna give you 3 minutes to do this so that we can do this together, and I can make sure that you guys can do other parts carefully, properly. Okay, 3 minutes to do this. Okay. No, no one has replied yet, has posted yet. I want to wait a little bit more so that you guys can figure this out. Okay, but let me share. Okay, maybe I can help you with this. Okay, so for me, okay, let's take a course that I'm doing. Okay, so for example, I'm doing a course graphic design course. So my learners will be all new learners. This is a public course, an online course. It's not an UC course, so they don't know each other. So the threats involved are that they might not want to talk to each other because they don't know each other. Their only common interest is that they're all taking this this course out of their own willingness. Okay, so that's the only common interest for all the learners that I have for my course. So how do I make sure my learners feel welcome? So I think for me, for that course, I want to make sure that these interests is acknowledged. I mean, like they all know that they all have the same interest, which is they all they're all taking this course on their own because they love graphic design. They want to know more about graphic design, and they're not forced to or anything. They're purely go into this course because they wanted to. So I want them to share on this interest that they have with each other, so that they don't feel the gap between each other. Okay, so I want them to share an experience of no, not experience. I want to share they share their reasons behind or the story behind on why they choose this course. Because usually they all have a very interesting story to share on why they choose the course. Maybe they started dabbling into graphic design or anything. They wanted to know more, or maybe a crush they have likes graphic design or anything. So yeah, I want them to share this as the activity, introduction activity. So the mask that I will be wearing for this will be the host mask. So I will use this mask to make sure that everyone feels they are part of this course, the course that I have. I don't want them to feel like they're missing out, they're not part of it. I want them to feel that they are welcome. And they all have one same interest, which is graphic design, and joining it on their own. So that is what I'll be doing for this workshop. And it should work, the host mask should work because I think by connecting each other, connecting with the learners with each other with the same interest, they all will feel like they're part of the same community. Okay, so yeah, that's from me. That's on top of my head. Okay, guys. So I hope there's people that shares already. Okay, if not, it's okay, guys. You can do this on another time. Okay, I want to see if there's any. Okay, there's Michelle that share. Okay, thanks, Michelle. Okay, so who are your learners? And do they know each other? So your targeted learners are pre-UCD students. Since your course is open to the public, the learners can come from various locations with various backgrounds. Thus, there is a very low possibility that the learners know each other. The threats involved could be cultural differences. That's true, cultural differences. How do you make sure that your learners feel welcome? Is to make the learners feel welcome, I will create an icebreaking activity in the homepage. That way they can all see the people and the interactions once they join the course. My activity would go this way. How did your morning go? Post a picture of how your morning went. Do remember to introduce yourself and tell us where you are from. And then have a look at the pictures posted by others and guess how did their morning go. I love this. This is very lighthearted. Like if it was me doing the activity, I'd definitely post something like those Instagram pictures with a coffee on the side. So that was me, even though I'm not having such a great morning, but I have coffee, so that's good enough. So I'll definitely post something like that for this activity. I like this activity, very heartwarming. So which mask will you be wearing? Yeah, you'll be wearing the host mask because you like to make sure that the participants feel welcome and comfortable being in this course. Oh, that's good. Thank you, Michelle. This is a very good example. Okay, so guys, Michelle have set an example here, so you can follow Michelle for the to post your answers and to do other activities. Let me just refresh and see if there's any other more that posted before we go to the next page. Okay, no more. Okay, it's okay, but you guys need to finish this activity. Don't worry, you can do this after the workshop because this is a very big activity, but you can take example from Michelle on how she did it. That's a really good example. Thank you, Michelle. Okay, now let's go to building an online community. So for this page, I am going to pass this to Kim actually to to conduct this page.
Thank you, Atika.
Right. Okay.
Can you hear
Take
me?
it away, Kim.
Thank you. Can you see me on screen?
Yes.
Yeah,
Let me
okay, great.
stop sharing.
Okay. Okay, just give me a minute. Here you go. All right. Hi, everybody. So you heard a lot from Atika about mask, about how do you go about what a facilitator is about and so forth. And in this session, I'm just going to go through with you the steps on some simple steps on how we can actually go about building an online community. As mentioned earlier, a course is just a course, but what happens after that to make it, to get it rolling, right? To make it active, to make it a conversation that people talk about, to make it something extra, something to give that extra bit of juice, so that it's special, it's unique, right? So let me just share my screen. Okay. Okay. Okay, share screen and share the sound. Okay. Can you see my screen, Atika?
Yes.
Okay, great, thank you. All right, okay, everyone. Building an online community. Why are facilitations so important? Why is it so important that we have something called facilitation? We have finished building the online course. We have done a lot of work, and we don't take a rest, right? But you take your rest, but after that, we go to the next step, which is supporting the learners, right? The early part is super important. So facilitators play a super important role. We are like the club community managers. We get everyone to know each other and to interact with each other. So we set the ball rolling, and we have to play a very proactive role. We get learners to learn from one another. We reduce one-way traffic. I remember during my teaching course, and they said, okay, reduce teacher talk time and increase student talk time, right? That was really interesting because that was, from an accountant to a teacher's training course. And the teacher trainer say, okay, don't talk so much. Okay, in your lesson plan, you will try to have more student talk time and less teacher talk time, right? So similarly, in an online course one, right? How do we actually give the focus back to the learners, have more student talk time, right? How do we do it in an online setting? Okay, so today I'm going to share with you some simple steps, 5 simple steps how we can go about doing it. And it goes by the acronym of SWIPE, right? SWIP. Okay, so the first one is, and this is based on an article that I wrote earlier, and it's based on this article. So I'm here. All right. Yeah, how to build an online community using SWIPE, the 5 simple steps. Okay, so the first step is as we set the stage, right? So imagine pre-COVID times, you know, if any of you go to the theater, which I do sometimes, and there's one theater just down the road near my place, you know, and if you go to theater, we have all kinds of settings, you know, like in this case, you see, you know, there's this 2 persons here, and then there's a staircase, and then you have the tables and whatnot, the sofas and whatever, right? And the set designer's role is to understand the story and figure out the props to make the story happen. Okay, so okay, maybe you have some props like, oh, outside there's a thunder and lightning and whatever, you know, and then after, you know, they talk to each other, you know, there's a staircase. You know. So think of all the movies that we have watched before, and remember, you know, Saturday afternoons, we love watching Bollywood movies, you know, think of the setting, the stage, right? What happens and what you expect learners to do, right? So you set the stage for that. So in an online course, how do we go about doing that, right? We have a lot of tools, isn't it? Right. And one of the important things is in learning design itself. How do we, at the learning design stage, design it such that it will allow for the learners to interact? We have to embed that in the learning design stage. So I will show you 2 examples. The first one is from the coffee course. This is from the Sunway coffee course. We just enlarge this a bit. Okay. Have you ever noticed the word Arabica or Robusta? I'm a coffee lover, by the way. On the coffee packet that you drink or see, these are the 2 main variations in coffee beans. Before we learn more about each type of coffee bean, to share your experience tasting coffee made from these 2 types of coffee beans, and do you think if there's a difference in terms of taste, smell, all right? What is the difference? What are the differences? Okay, what do you think? Which one do you prefer? Okay, so in the learning design stage, we already get learners to, you know, introduce learners to the types of coffee beans. We get them to think about the differences. So all this is setting the stage for learners to think, to discuss, and all this requires thinking and learning design. All right. So that's the first step that set the stage, which is S in SWIPE. All right, another example is this. This is from Design a World-Class course, a highly recommended course that you can join to learn about learning on learning design. So in this activity, creating a course plan, right? And the design goes like this. All right, time to dip your toes into the water by beginning to create a course plan. Click blah, 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 scenario selector to select a scenario. Imagine you are creating a course in this situation, XXX. Decide what are the course outcomes, right? Write it down so that you know you have some idea. What is the course title? What would be the final activity in the course? Right? Course outcomes, course title, and what do you think should be the final activity? You know, you have your outcomes, you know what you want the learners to achieve, right? What the course is about and what you want them to do. Then share your scenario and ideas with other course learners and our participants, okay? There are many roads to get to Rome. So we have different approaches to, you know, a topic to get the learners to share. Let's see if we create this activity, you'll see learners come up with their own ideas about course titles, learning outcomes, and the activities. And then we get to share with each other and to discuss with each other, right? Because each of us think differently, right? So these are 2 examples of setting the stage. So I'm going to give you 2 minutes. Your turn now. Can you think of more examples how we can set the stage for learners to interact with each other? and take 2 minutes, and it can be a brief, simple idea, or something you already have in mind, or something just came to your mind, and type in the chat box, okay? Right, let's see what ideas our participants today come up with, okay? Let me just stop sharing a bit. Okay. So while you think of the ideas that we can have on setting the stage, right? We can go to the next step, and this is on W. So it's swipe. So the next step is W. And it means welcome, W for welcome, right? How do we welcome learners to the course? Especially when, you know, we just get to know each other from the screen of the laptop or the mobile phone screen. How do we actually use the welcome stage to build an online community? Okay, so there are a few things that we can do here. So we can actually have a welcome video, something like, let me just share, right? Share screen again. Okay. We can have a welcome video like this, a very short one, so that learners know what the course is all about.
The Internet of Things, or otherwise called IoT. It really sounds like it comes from the future, but in fact, it's here, now, and everywhere. I'm Emmanuel Mastio from the Faculty of Engineering and IT at UTS, and together we'll explore how it works, how it will impact everyone, and how it will reshape the whole future.
Introduction. So you can have that, and can do it in various ways. You can have a person introducing, you can have animation, all sorts of ways, all sorts of creative ways that we can have nowadays. We can have an icebreaker activity. So it can be something from, for example, well, this is from the AR with Snapchat Lens Studio course. And we get learners to say hi, you know, introduce themselves, share 3 clues about a place that they would like to visit or suit their personality, and get the other learners to guess. So you are only limited by your creativity, okay? So that's another thing. When you have a party and there are strangers, the first thing as a host is let everybody get to know each other. So we have our icebreaker. And you can also, for more information, you can also refer to an article. Is by my colleague, Alena, 3 fun icebreaker activities for your online course. Okay, where you'll find a lot of tips on how to go about this. Okay. We can also make sure that learners are on the same page by providing course orientation information. For example, okay, the course syllabus, what are the different modules that you will have, the course assessment timelines, the expectations in terms of the output, the expectations in terms of when you provide your comments and your what kind of like supporting information that you need to provide or evidence that you need to provide, all those sort of things you need to give at the outset so that learners know what to expect and how to prepare for the course. And we can also set the ground rules, okay? Because in an online course, we'll all be online, and so we need to have certain rules, just like in a physical classroom, and we can have things like netiquette rules. So you can be polite, be respectful, be scholarly, professional. Adapt the rules as you see fit. Okay, this is just an example, but you can find many examples of etiquette rules online, the do's and don'ts when we deal with other students online. Okay. So that's step 2, W. In the next step, step 3 is SWIP. We encourage interaction using online tools. And in the age of COVID, we are lucky to have all kinds of online tools, I guess, and it's so user-friendly. We can use interactive online tools, for example, like discussion forums. We have widgets on the OpenLearning platform. You have things like you can have live chats, community bulletin points like Padlet that you tried just now with Atika's activity. We can have Jamboards, wikis, blogs, and many more. Okay, as you can see later from Professor Richard Buckland's video, when you have questions, try not to answer them right away. Give the chance for learners to actually talk to one another and try to resist answering. Okay. Another very important thing is, since we are all online and all of us are just names in a way to each other, how do we actually humanize the interaction? How do we actually feel, let the learners feel that actually you're dealing with a human? You're not dealing with a bot, a chat bot, or a robot, or somebody, somebody nameless. So as a facilitator in the interaction, you can actually, in the choice of words that you use, make learners feel that they are taken care of, they are supported. So for example, what we see here, this is the learner, Jennifer West. Very interesting lecture. I've always had problems defining my vision, as I am more of a go with the flow person. I wish I had someone like you, Professor, when I was 18. 2 decades down the road, having done a lot of work on myself, I'm still finding it hard to set a 10-year-long vision, and it's changed many times, right? I feel I've accomplished a lot, but also feel very strongly, another change is coming, right? And as a facilitator, what you can do is you can be encouraging. Thanks a lot. It is never too late to start. I'm sure that all the great work you did thus far will make your vision even more compelling and will draw more people to work with you on it. Stay awesome. So as a facilitator, what we can do is not just copy paste, really try to listen to the learners, and each of them are different and they come from the learning situation, on various situations. Maybe they are trying to have a part-time job and learn at the same time and stuff like that. So we have to practice empathy and make them feel that they are human, all right? And they're dealing with a human, okay? We can also provide self-assessment rubrics, okay? So in the interaction at the outset, we let learners know what the expectations are when they join a group chat and discussion board, okay? Do they just say, okay, yes, and full stop? Or do we expect them to, when they post something, to really post something of substance and substantiate it, give some evidence, and expand upon the idea, create something new, so that the learning is much more substantive and meaningful, okay? And it's great to have that at the outset, so that everyone is trying to build a quality conversation and people can learn from each other. You can actually refer to the Purdue discussion board rubric for more tips on this after this course, okay? So you can have a rubric like criteria. What is it, criteria are we looking for? The timeliness and quantity of discussion responses. What is an excellent response, a good, fair, or poor response, right? Responsiveness to discussion topics, okay? The ability of the learners post to move the discussion forward. Are they just repeating what the previous learners said, or are they adding something new that will bring the discussion to another level, right? And this is what we're trying to inculcate in them, okay? And we can also automate the interactions as much as possible, right? And in OpenLearning, you have tools for that. You can automate, you can send announcements, you can send reminders, you can send automated messages on key dates, and then you can email inactive learners just to remind them to get on board again. So all these kind of interactions and steps will actually help your learners to get back on board and be part of an interactive student community for your online course. All right. Okay. Now I'm going to just give 2 minutes. You have seen a few methods here, and I'm sure before this webinar, you have come across, as educators, you have come across many methods on the effective ways that we can use to promote interactions among learners, especially in an online environment, right? Can you please share what methods do you like personally? Let us know why. And are there any new interaction methods that you say, oh, hey, that's interesting, I would like to try that out? Okay, so can you take 2 to 3 minutes and let us know your thoughts? All right. Atika?
Yes.
Hi. Since we are waiting for learners to come a bit, just 2 minutes. What method of interaction do you like? Do you have any preferences?
Maybe you share yours first.
Okay, that's a very clever comeback, right? I like discussions. I like to see different perspectives. And I love it when someone gives me something that I haven't thought of before, because then I can see something new. And yeah, I can see a different perspective. And that's what learning is about, isn't it? Learning about things that I have not thought about from other people, and sharing things that I know with other people. And so we can learn from each other. I love interactions, whether it's through like a Padlet or discussion forums. The end goal is I want to make sure I'm elevate myself in terms of learning that topic to another level. I think that's where the satisfaction comes from for me. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, I think I can agree with that. I think most of everybody who when they achieve more than they used to, they'll feel more satisfied with themselves.
Yeah.
So I guess when you get to feel like you have achieved something, it is a way. It is, how do I say this? Basically, it's much more satisfactory when you achieve something that's you have not achieved it before. Yeah.
And we feel that they're different one, right? When we manage to kind of like overcome some sort of like a, can I call it a challenge or some kind of learning, and we get to a higher level. And so we are, we go up the steps, isn't it? Yeah. So it's it takes effort, but I think with the effort we put in and we get to a higher level, that's where the satisfaction comes about. Okay, let's see the learners. What do we have? To share with us if there are any methods of interaction that you like. We would love to hear from you. You can share with us in the chat box. Okay. And while you are sharing, taking note of the time, I shall go ahead with step 4. Okay, let me just minimize this. Okay, step 4 is prompt. Okay, so prompt learners to engage with the course on a deeper level. So how do we prompt learners when they reply to something? So an example goes like this, right? So if there's a question here, what is raised? And the learner answered, okay, waste is XXX. It's non-biodegradable substances that do not decompose into the earth, right? And we have someone reply, not always true, right? And another person will reply, okay, yes, agreed. Waste is generally things that are no longer useful to us, but can be biodegradable, such as food scraps, and non-biodegradable, such as plastic bottles. So can you see that this kind of responses, it's not just, okay, yes, no, full stop. It actually prompts the learners to say, okay, since I have a different opinion, slightly different opinion, I will give you something, some examples of what I mean, so that you can have a better understanding and thoughts about it. And and the learner replied, yes, I guess it isn't. Looks like I had the wrong idea after all. She's kind of like enlightened a little bit here, because you have people who actually prompted her on her ideas and other ways that she can think about it. All right. And then the facilitator comes in and actually encourage it, love this interaction, and do a mini summary. The whole point of this exercise is to re-examine what we think about waste. Good job, Farida, Rashid, and Siti. So encourage all the learners so that it's a positive vibe that you send across to the learners as a facilitator, that they want to do more and more again to learn from each other. Now, Farida has come up with a new perspective, and another learner, Siti, has felt that, oh, I have contributed to another learner being able to learn something new. So it's a win-win situation, right? The facilitator also, other than summarizing and encouraging, also make sure that jump in whenever needed. This is partially correct. Okay, waste can include non-biodegradable substances, but it's just not the entire picture. We'll discover more about in the rest of the course, right? So this is an example of interaction where the facilitator actually prompted the learners to actually engage with the course on a deeper level, not just think on the surface, but give prompting questions and encouragement to think on a deeper level. And there are a few tips here how we can actually prompt learners. Okay, so there are 7 tips here. I'll just go over certain tips, right? So first, you can keep the discussion focused, right? And if you feel that learners have gone off topic, then facilitator's role is actually to get them back onto the main road, okay? So recognize them. Hi, Sam. Hi, Diego, right? Encouragement. Good thought to bring up this idea and prompt them, okay? Now, how would you relate this to the topic of motivation? Okay, get them back on track, right? That's the first thing, so that they go into the right roads. Second one, if their posting is not clear, we can ask for clarification, right? Give some positive encouragement, an excellent overview of the readings, and then can you explain what you mean by active learning as a technique, right? And let them explain, okay? Let them learn. We can also use this method called the Socratic method of questioning, where as a facilitator, you can ask deep probing questions and try not to stop the discussion, okay? And these are usually open questions. Have you considered this, all right? How did it occur, all right? And what are your thoughts on it? So these are open questions that will prompt the learners to think at a deeper level. You can have students summarize or synthesize the learning, as just Atika did just now in one of the activities, right? Where you have the Padlet, and then students will look over the postings and summarize the learning. You can recommend resources to extend their learning. And sometimes in a group, you will find that certain students dominate the discussion, and we don't want that. We try to have different learners come on board and learn, not just a few learners, right? So to ensure that no student dominates, you have to think of ways to draw out the quieter students, maybe get them into discussion groups, right? If in case you see any hostile or offensive postings, then as a facilitator, you need to step in, all right? Finally, draw conclusions and provide content expertise. You sit back and let learners discuss with each other, and where you need to, you jump in and provide your own insights as on the topic, and help students to apply, analyze, and actually synthesize the information. So these are some things that we can, as a facilitator, do to prompt learners. All right. The last step in SWIPE is NE. So end the week with a recap and let learners know what to expect next. So in an online setting, learners actually go into the course at different times, and they have different schedules. Some of them is like, they're busy people. So, and some of them may be on a few online courses. So we need to find a way to keep them on track. And one way to do this is every week you can send it doesn't need to be long. It's just a recap, just to update everybody and keep everybody on the same page, right? So you can have something like this, a short email or announcement. You can summarize the latest content that they've learned for that week. What are the key takeaways, okay, from the discussions that learners have with each other that week. You can actually remind them about, okay, you have this assessment coming up in 2 weeks' time, right? Or you have this discussion or this something due in the next week or so, all right? So this is a sample that you can use, all right? Sample weekly course recap announcement. So welcome to week 3 of the course. As we move into 5th and final week of the course, we want to say a big thank you, blah, 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 okay, for sharing and your unique perspectives and expertise to the course. Yeah, so this week, what we shall do, all right, we'll start by looking at XXX. Then we'll go to something, a new topic. Finally, we'll wrap up with an activity or discussion or whatever that you have planned. I'll talk about the community so that they can feel that even though they are all online, they are part of the community. You are gelling them together with this weekly recap, so they are not, they are back on the course. If they have been busy, they haven't logged in for a while, they are back on the course, they know what's going on, and they know what our learners are commenting, right? And you can also look at the highlights, give them the highlights, the Q&As from the previous week, some interesting questions that learners have brought about. So this is a summary to keep them together, okay? And so we have the 5 steps, SWIPE. So you set the stage for learners to interact by having great course design. You welcome learners to the course, and then you use the various types of interesting online tools to let the learners interact with one another and do peer learning as well. We prompt learners to engage with the course on a deeper level of substance. So there's a quality discussion, right? Not just on the surface discussion. And finally, we end the week with a recap of what learners have done for the week, what they can expect to come next, okay? And so we have it, all the 5 steps, all right? For more information, you can actually go into these 2 subpages, tips to build a thriving social community in open learning. There's a very nice video from Professor Richard Buckland who talks about facilitation. I would highly recommend that you watch it. And we have another subpage, how your course activities can enhance interaction in your community, right? There are a lot of great resources here. I hope you will make use of it, okay? So in the next session, I will pass to Atika to talk to you about our ambassador activity for this session, all right, over Basics 5.
Okay,
all right.
Thanks, Kim. But before that, would you like to mention, to read Michelle's postings on the activity? She actually shared for both activity that you have.
Thank you for reminding me, right? Okay. All right, thank you, Michelle, for sharing. Okay. This is a card, okay? I usually use interactive online tools and humanized interaction with my learners. I think it's important to keep things interactive, interesting in a virtual space. Totally agree, Michelle. As online learning can be lonely, it is important to have humanized interaction to constantly remind learners that the instructor And learners also are humans, and they have peers learning with them. In the future, I'd like to try automating some interactions to remind on key dates and to nudge inactive learners so that the workload is more bearable. That's a very good sharing, Michelle. Thank you so much for sharing. And as an educator myself, I fully agree with what you said. And we would, with the many multitasks that we have to do as educators, it would be good to try to use all these automated online tools to help us manage our workload, right? That's super important. And if we can do that, that gives us more time to plan lessons, to plan, to design the lesson. Yeah, so maybe automate some, things like marking, for example, where it's possible. Yeah, thank you, Shop, for sharing. All right.
I'm actually on the fence with that. I'm like, I want some automated features, but I also agree that human touch, the personal touch, is nothing can beat that, because when you put in a human touch, it's much more meaningful, I guess. But so I'm a little bit on the fence, but I agree with what you said. Why, by having automated features, it does reduce some of the workloads that we have. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
a combination, maybe. Yeah, maybe. Combination. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the human touch is so important. I remember, and recently I went for a 9 to 5 o'clock training. I was tasked to attend a 9 to 5 o'clock training, and we are in front of the laptop most of the time. Wow. It's challenging. It's challenging. So I can feel for the students who are asked to go for online learning, during this lockdown period. They're asked to do, be in front of the laptop screen for a few hours every day. I can empathize with them because I was in the same situation from 9 to 5 that day. That's Saturday. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Also, I would like to also highlight that Michelle is actually one of our speakers during our symposium last month. So she shared a bit on her journey and her experiences creating an online course. And she also shared a part of a course, which she has a video. On each topic, she recorded a video of herself explaining the topic. So I feel like this is for an online course. This is actually a nice touch. It doesn't have to be a long video. Can be a very short video, a short video, just like an introductory to the topic. But it's a nice touch to give like a human touch to an online course, and I just like to highlight that Michelle have that in her course. So yeah. So I just wanted to add that in.
I think that human touch is like we put a face to the course kind of thing. Oh, this is my instructor kind of thing. I think it's special so that learners can feel, okay, now I'm dealing with a human, and my instructor, it just gives it a different vibe, different feeling. And we also have a posting from Eugene Hua, right? Automation helps with all the repetitive tasks. His teachers, so much things to do, and sometimes the workload is a lot, right? Wow. And with reminders or recaps, while the personal touch is effective for a customized message to kick off or wrap up the week. So we have different things for different occasions. Sometimes we automate certain things when it's appropriate. Certain things, we really need a human touch.
I agree with Eugene over here. Yeah. For the automation is for something repetitive, and the personal touch is something customized. Yeah. Okay, I will take note of that. Thank you, Eugene.
Thank you for posting. Okay, over to you, Atika, on the next step.
Yeah. All right. So I forgot about that
activity,
part of the activity. So in the activity, let's see. Not this one.
You should be screen sharing.
Yes, I will share my screen.
Okay, then.
Okay. So there is one last activity for this on the page. You can see my screen, right, Kim? You're on mute.
Now you're okay. Yes, I can see now.
Okay.
All good. Yep.
Okay, so just want to share that there's an activity on the page that Kim conducts just now. There's an activity at the end of the page where for the activity, I want you to plan the community building for your course. So I want you to write a plan on how to build your community and facilitate your course once it has gone online. So this plan is to ensure that your learners engage with each other and keep the learning going. You can use the tips given that Kim has, the SWOT tips or the tips in here to help you plan your community building and your facilitation. I want you to be as detailed as possible. If you have an example, you want to include them. I want to look at how you plan your community building for your course. So this is a very important activity. I will look into this activity, scrutinize it. Okay, maybe not scrutinize, but yes, this is an important activity. So I want you to be as detailed as possible when explaining how you plan to build your course and build your community, the community in your course. Okay, once they have gone online, how to make sure that the learners are engaged and how you plan to keep the learning going. Okay, so this is an activity that you can do after the workshop is done. So all right, so we'll just go to the next page, which is administer learners. So on this page is just on the settings on how you can administer your learners on the Open Learning platform. So I'm just going to go through this page like this. So you can see how to do this. Okay, so under administer learners here, when you go into your own course, you have the tab administer learners. So there's five tabs, which is general, timeline, learners, statistics, and advanced. So for the general setting, yes, you can once you go in that page, you can see the class settings and facilitators in the class, and also all groups in the class. So for this page, you can under class settings, if you have multiple classes for your course, multiple classes for the same course, okay, means that if, for example, this course, you have a few different cohorts, you can actually set different banners for each classes. So it's if you have different banners, you can set it up, and then it's easier for you to identify, okay, I'm actually in this class, I'm in this class, I'm in this class. So you can actually set that in, but this is optional. So if you don't want to, you can just leave it be. Okay, there's also facilitators in the class where you put in facilitators for your course. So this is not the same as course administrators. So facilitators are just the ones that facilitate the course, okay? So they don't have the same power as the course administrators where they can change the content or anything. They just facilitate the course, give comment, feedbacks to the learners in the course. So you can add these facilitators in the administrators learners general. So just add new facilitators, or if you plan to remove them, just click the X button. And then you can also view all groups in the class. If you created groups, you can also, if you created groups or the learners created groups, you can view them all in the general settings. Okay, next is the timeline. So on the timeline settings, you can set the class access time. So this means that you can set the start date of your the course, the enrollment close date, and the end date. So if you notice this workshop course started on this day at 8 p.m. So a lot of you actually joined early but didn't get to go in. So it means that I have set a start date. So this means that learners can click join early, but it's just that they are not enrolled into the course. I mean, like they cannot see the content, but they're already enrolled into the course. Okay, and then you can also set an enrollment close date, which means that after the enrollment, after the date, there's the enrollment will stop. So you can limit the enrollment up until then. Okay, and then also an end date. So how end date is different than enrollment close date is that end date is the end date for the course. So if you set an end date, once it's over, once it's past the date, the course is no longer accessible to the learners. They will no longer longer be able to see the content of the course. So usually I keep this open so that the learners can always come back and learn in the course. But if you feel like you need to have an end date, you can set it up. Okay. And then other than the access time, you can also set the pacing of the course. You can either choose OpenMOOC, which I highly recommend, self-paced or scheduled. So OpenMOOC means that they can go through all of their pages at any time and finish it at any time at their own pace. Self-paced means that they have to finish each module in order to go to the next module. But for this course, I only have one module, so self-paced doesn't work for me. And then you have schedule, where you set when the module opens. So also this one doesn't work for this workshop because I only have one module. So both self-paced and schedule works best if you have multiple modules in your course. Okay, but if you want to set a page of the date as well, you can do that in the settings. Okay, this right. Next, we go to learner settings. So you in this page, you can invite the learners by enrolling them by email or search them by their OpenLearning profile name. You can do this actually in bulk as well. I think up to 500 invites in one go. On this page as well, you can also view the progress and other data of the learners in the class. So you can see, for example, this is I think this was a previous course. So you can see all the data, the enrollment date, the completion date. So we see that Terry here has completed everything 100%, and also this logo means that he has been certified. You can see when he completed, how many comments, how many kudos he got, the completion rate, and if there is a certified, there will be a certification ID as well in there. You can also remove the learners, send a reminder message, and export data, the learners data from this page as well. Okay. Next, we go to statistics. On this page, there are a few analytics that you can view. The analytics on this page are the progress for the learners throughout the course. So you can see the progress overview. There's also progress overview of pages, the students, and also comments if you view the page fully. Okay. Next we go and finally we go to advanced. So for advanced, there's three settings that you can set, but I think the most important one, if you have pre-enrollment questions, you can set it up in the advanced settings here. Okay, so you can put on pre-enrollment questions. So when they join in, before they see the content, they have to answer the question first in order for them to go into progress into the course. Okay, so this is where so sometimes usually people use this for learners to put in their student ID or any information that they cannot get they need it after well, they needed like phone number or anything lah. Okay. So that's under administer students, administer learners, sorry. Administer learners, you can see all of these settings in your course under administer learners. So yeah, that's it. All right, so we're nearly the end. Well, we're basically at the end. So this is the last page. So everyone, I guess congratulations on completing this workshop series. Before we end, I just wanted to mention that if you might miss our previous workshop due to unfortunate circumstances, you can still join. It's always open. We also have set up all the recorded sessions on the courses, so you can view the sessions in the each of the courses for your viewing pleasure. So if you miss any of it, you can just click on the link to join the workshop courses and watch the recorded session and also participate in the activities. Okay, so for those who have completed them all, what does this mean, guys? Okay, means that, okay, so for those who have completed it all, first and foremost, this workshop are part of the OL Basic series and the Open Learning Ambassador Program, which provide basic training for everyone that is interested to learn how to create courses using the Open Learning platform or any other platform as well. So by completing all of the workshop courses with proper submissions and activities, you will be awarded with the Open Learning badges and certificate. So there are 3 badges to collect, and once you collect all 3 badges, you'll get the Open Learning Ambassador certificate. Some of you actually have already gotten 2 of the badges. For those who have submitted but haven't got any, please take a look at the feedback that I have given. Some of you actually, I have reached out to you on via the Open Learning chat, but you might miss it, or you make your chat offline. So please try to check those, check the feedback in the course and your chat to see my feedback from because you might miss on getting your Open Learning badge. Okay, so for those who have gotten their badge, either one or both already, congratulations. There's 1 more badge to collect, which is for this course. And once you have all 3 badges, you will be awarded with the Open Learning certificate. All right. Okay. So before we end, there's also the reflection station. We always wanted to know what you think of this whole session, what you like about the session, and which part was most beneficial for you. So this is just the reflection for the course. Okay. And lastly, guys, I noticed that most of you didn't fill in the feedback form. So please fill in the feedback form. Just click on this and it will lead you to the Google form. This is because we wanted to know what we need to improve, what do you want to know more. This is how we find that out. Okay, so please fill in the feedback form. I noticed that for previous workshop, there's not a lot of submission. So hopefully this one, for those who are joined today, feel free to fill in the feedback form. Okay, so also before I end, Kim, do you have anything you want to add?
Thank you, Atika. A quick one then. Facilitation for me, to me, is like an art. So it's a very interesting challenge, and I guess if we can go to the stage that, to the next level and practice all these techniques in such a way that, oh, our online course actually has an active community that can run by itself even when I'm on holiday in Bali or somewhere, I'm on the plane or somewhere, right? Or I'm just driving along the highway, you know, going to one of those kampungs for a nice visit, right? And the community can run by itself and people are learning. I think that kind of satisfaction, that kind of level of peer learning that, you know, we can achieve if we manage to hone our skills as a facilitator, I think it's very rewarding. So so I would encourage everyone to go ahead on this journey to sharpen your facilitation skills. Okay, thank you, Atika.
All right, thank you, Kim, so much for joining me today. Also, on behalf of my team backstage who have been helping, we have Elena, Chandru, and also Shaliza. Thank you for helping us today. Let me see. Okay. Thank you everyone for joining us today also as well. And because this is the last workshop, we hope to see you in other events as well. So
thank you so much for joining, and thank you to the team for supporting us, and to Nikki as well for the great support, right? And yeah, we hope to see you guys in the future sessions.
Okay, I hope everyone have a good Wednesday today. Thanks everyone. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Oh, forgot to mention.
Yeah.
I actually forgot to mention there's resources, quite good resources in here.
All right. You can actually
Yeah,
post
but
in the...
for those who are still watching, so
Yeah.
I just wanted to mention there are resources, guidance resources. Every guidance resources for each workshops are different. So for this one, there are some blog posts that are related to facilitation, and a video by Shaliza on monitoring your learner's progress on OpenLearning. So if you need more help on facilitation and monitoring your learner's progress, you can head on to the guides and resources page. All right, that's all for me. Thank you, everyone. If you are keen to join us for this evening session, you can join us on the Tanya OL session at 3 p.m. 3 p.m. You can view us on OpenLearning's YouTube channel or our Creator Community Facebook group. All right, that's it. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.